Good morning, my name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage and welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you my autumn plans. Now autumn is one of my favorite seasons, that and winter. I like the others as well, but I come alive when autumn and winter comes along. So I really get excited about it, and also with being in the northern hemisphere, it's an experience. At the moment it's still quite green, but when the wind's blowing there's a lot of yellow leaves raining down every single day, and I'm getting more excited by the day. But up until now it's been a disappointment. It has been like 32 degrees Celsius, I think that's like 82 or something, and I have not been liking it at all. It shouldn't be red and yellow leaves if it's hot like the middle of summer. But today is nice and cool, and we had a few drops coming down just now, so maybe autumn is on its way. First I'm going to share with you some samples of fabric that I'm planning on using. That makes my heart sing. I love browns, I love reds, I love oranges. I've always done it. At one stage my favorite color was neon orange. I know. One friend said to me, I know, and you used to just wear black. Now that's another story. It was actually because I was kind of depressed because I didn't have hair, but that's beside the point. Oh, what is in the point is, it's September, and September is Alopecia Awareness Month, and I have alopecia. I've had it since I was 17. No fun to lose your hair as a girl at 17, but through the years I've learned to accept it. And most days I don't even realize that I don't have hair unless my head gets burned into a crisp because I forgot to wear a hat, or it is kind of cold and I'm cold. And also when there's the horrible hollies who come around and make horrible comments, or where there's the pervert men who think because they don't have hair they can actually live out their fetishes through that. So through the years I've learned to actually just leave that and not let it get to me. Anyway, alopecia awareness. Not all women or men who don't have hair has cancer. Just remember that. So I'm not sick, I'm fine, I'm loving life, I'm healthy. My body is allergic to my hair roots, and that's basically the thing. But let's get back to autumn plants. That's so much more interesting. I've showed you my samples. I am really excited about all of these colors. Not that was a lining. All of these colors. So let's start with the thing I'm the most excited about. It's the Ella dress from Silver Saga Patterns. This linen one in the end. There's that beautiful blue and white. I think I'm still going to make it for summer. But for autumn and winter, I want red linen. Now I know the crunchy mums will tell you, do not mix wool and linen. Their energies cancel each other out and you get no help from either of them. There is something like energy around fabric. I don't care. I love wearing the two together. I love wearing winter linens. And so there's a linen dress in my future. Then this chick, Fritz and Cahoots. She's from Colorado. Lisa, she's just too cool for words. She sent me some fabric. We are actually doing a collaboration together. I'm going to talk about that just now. And she sent me some of this. She found a bolt of it and she sent me half, I think, of 3.5 meters. So when I saw it, I knew it had to be McCall's 7969. I mean, don't you just love that combination? I think that is just perfect. So I'm going to make it with the long sleeves, the three-quarter sleeves. I'm going to make it long, and I don't think I'm going to give it a frill. And I can't remember if this has pockets, so of course I'm going to add pockets. If it doesn't, if it does, good for me. So that is the next thing in my future. What I love about this dress is you can actually wear like a polo neck underneath and some tights and a cardigan over. It is just so versatile. I have an autumn version, but I've made it twice already and I loved it so much. I'm going to make it again, and I might even turn it into a little shirt pretty soon. I have some linen left over that I think will make a beautiful shirt. And you always need shirts or tops. Then there is this picture, also from my last year autumn plans that I never got to. And I just adore it. I don't know who this lady is, but I love her dress. I love this like tucks at the bottom and I love the bodice. So I thought about it. And one thing is, I want to wear this dress in summer as well, because brown is just one of those colors that can work for any season. And those straps are gorgeous, but in summer it will not work. So I decided to use this pattern, the Simplicity S8-9-10. Now this is higher at the front and very low at the back. So I'm going to cut it straight and fold the back up. Use those pockets. Instead of pleats, give it gathers, and do it in this brown linen. The only problem with this linen, it's a handkerchief linen, which I love, of course, but it's very see-through. I don't know if you can see, but I mean, it's like, I'm going to be indecent if I wear it to have out a petticoat. So I've decided to line it. When I was in Storm Lake City, I went to the antique store and they had some fabrics, and there was this. It's a polycotton, but it's quite thin, and I like the feel on my skin. I don't always like polycotton, but I thought if I use this as the lining and this is an outside, this could work really nicely and just give this dress a little bit of weight. I've cut the lining in this and I've cut the dress in this, and that is going to be on the Simplicity S8910. The next one is this Simplicity S9715. I love the pintux on this pants. I just adore it. I'm just not sure it's going to suit my body type, but I'm really trying to embrace different styles that I wouldn't usually embrace. So I've decided I'm going to make it, and if I really don't like it, then I'll pick it and recut it and make it a bit different. So of course it's going to be in the brown, because I've got lots of the brown. And then I had this also found at a Storm Lake City, and it's the same as that previous one, and I've lined the pants with this, and again it will just give it weight, and it will make that it's not indecent, which I would say is important. So I've cut out the pants and they are ready to go, and I'm really looking forward to finishing them to see how I feel about them. So I'm really aware of how expensive patterns are, especially for people that does not live in America. And sometimes you just can't afford the pattern. So you can go around looking at second-hand stores if you're lucky, or in your granny's stash, to find patterns that's similar. But I find Mood actually have an amazing selection. You might have to make a toile or a mock-up to make sure it fits and tweak it a little bit, but it's a free resource and it's available. So I found these ones, the Aster Pants by Mood Sewing Society, and it looks very similar. Doesn't have so many pintux, but I was thinking if you take it and you give it a few more pintux in the front, just cut it wider and give it more pintux, it should give you the same effect as the Simplicity pattern. Then I found this one. It is Burda 7769. So waistcoats, if you don't know and aren't on the bandwagon yet, that's the way to go for the next season. I think every wardrobe should have a waistcoat. It's versatile. I mean, think how nice this dress would look with a waistcoat over it. So anyway, I found Burda 7769, and I'm going to make review B. I'm going to show you on the back. It's that one. So it is a classical waistcoat. I would have liked it with points, but on the other hand, I remember having one with points and I wasn't that keen on it. So I think this is actually a better option. One thing about this pattern, normal patterns like Simplicity and those ones have like the little nicks that you know how to align the pattern pieces. This one doesn't have any of those. It's not a problem for me because I've sewed a lot in my life. But if you're a beginner, maybe go and find another waistcoat pattern. So I have done my research and my homework so that you don't have to do it. And I found that Mood has the Janet cosplay vest. It's got the points and it also has a collar. You can leave the collar out if you want. And that is actually also a free pattern. Another nice resource to have. And you can go and make that one if you don't want to buy a pattern. So, of course, I had more of the brown. And that means I'm using the brown. But also I wanted a brown waistcoat. I cut it double. And I am just going to make this one Burda 7769 in this beautiful brown cut double. And then I will have a waistcoat. Then there was this one. So I showed you this fabric and I said I wanted to do another dress, but I just didn't have enough for that dress. So in the end, I decided on McCall's 7381. I haven't seen a lot of people making it, but I do like how interesting it is. So I cut it out, and I cut it out on that length, and I'm going to give it a frill. So it's going to have a frill and another smaller frill at the bottom, because I want it flowy and almost free people feeling. I did not find a free pattern for this, I'm sorry. So let's see how it goes. But one thing I want to actually challenge you on. My granny was a dressmaker and she made amazing dresses. So often she had to like really work it out to get the pattern pieces to come out. And I frowned upon it. I thought like, oh, why would you do that and stuff? But then in the last 10 years and having a business of sewing, I ended up with so much scraps. And what do you do with it? And I don't know if you're aware of it, but a lot of the landfills are actually full of fabric. And fabric is one of the things that does not disintegrate. So cotton, viscose, wool, those things, they do disintegrate, but like the synthetic fabrics, there's no chance. They're literally there forever and a day, and then they turn into something really horrible and nasty that pollutes the groundwater. So think about your scraps. So I've started using up all the scraps. So for the frill at the bottom, I literally took all the pieces. This is kind of the biggest piece that's left. And I just sewed them together and I cut that frill out of all of these little pieces and paste and paste and paste until I had enough for the frill at the bottom. Because this is such a vibrant fabric and there's so much going on it, you're not going to see the seams. If it was linen or something like that, I would reconsider that decision. But for fabric that's not going to show it, go for it. Use up your scraps, please. So I ended up with this and a few little strings of fabric, and it all fits in my hand, which I'm very happy about. McCall's 7381 View B, and I gave it a frill. Then new look C, View C. I have had this pattern for quite a few years. A friend actually sent it to me from America when I was still in South Africa, and I've always loved it, never made it, because new look is notorious for the sleeves not fitting properly. So I measured and I did everything and I was convinced this will fit me properly, and I've cut it out. So let's see what happens. Again, I only had 1.5 meters of this, which I also found in Storm Lake City and in that antique store, and I love it. It's a beautiful, I think it's a quilting cotton actually, but it's just so pretty. And this is my colors. It's like the gray and white and the maroon, which I love. So I did View D, cut it out. I've like fiddled with the sleeves. I think they might pull a little bit here. Not sure yet, need to finish the top. But what I also did is I didn't have completely enough fabric, so I gave it in the back, for the back panel. In the middle, there's like two pieces that's sewn together. The biggest thing to remember is just make sure that your direction of your fabric is the right way. Then you should be fine. And so this top is going to join my wardrobe soon. I have this that I found also in Storm Lake City in the Goodwill, and I just love it. I want to make a body warmer out of this. I have 2 of them. I was originally thinking to just make a short little one and just buy one, but I want one that comes to my waist and just a round neck with binding that ties here and maybe a few ties, or I might give it poppers. I'm still deciding on that. No sleeves, just a body warmer to put on over things. I think it could even work on this. No, it's a bit pink, but I have other dresses that it will work fine with. So this is going to become that. And also, often when I'm working in winter, my body gets cold. And when you're working, nobody sees you anyway. So I'm looking for something to just put on. I had a crocheted gilet that my granny still did for my mom. It's out of synthetic yarn, but it's starting to get a bit tacky. So I left it in my treasure trove in South Africa. So I need something for those days. And this is perfect. It's light. It is synthetic, but that's fine. I think it cost me like $1 or $2, $1.50 each. So $3 and a half a body warmer. I think that's it. That's a deal. And then I talked about the collaboration that's coming up with Friends in Cahoots, Lisa. I found this in a secondhand store. 100% cotton, made in China type of things. Love the colors. Love the backing. I almost am tempted to do the front, to use this as the front, but there's such beautiful pieces on this quilt. So I cut it in half. I sent half to Lisa. She's going to make something and I'm going to make something in this, and then we will have a collaboration coming up where we will share what we've made. I'm not sure what I'm going to make out of this yet, but it is in the future. So let's talk about these two. This is my little body warmer. I spoke about it 2 weeks ago, I think, and I've been knitting like a maniac because I wanted it in my wardrobe, but also I just love cables. I know I've said it before, but I really, really love cables. And I made this one up as I went along, and I have a lot of cables in my head that's been floating around forever and a day. So I just put all the ones that I love, and I am really happy with the end result. I think I would have liked if the sleeves came in a little bit more, but on the other hand, I usually wear like big sleeves and stuff, so then this will actually look better. And it fits perfectly, and overall, I'm really happy. And then with all the things that I have in my wardrobe, I did a little bit of an assessment, and oh, I'm losing my stitches here, just wait a second, and realized that I need a olive green cardigan. But I wanted a quick knit. I've got lots of fingering weight yarn, well not lots, but I think 3 sweater quantities of it. And I love knitting fingering weight yarn, but it's a real commitment and it takes forever and a day to finish. And I wanted a quick one. So I went to Joann's and they had this yarn. I'll put it in the link below. It is the most interesting yarn. You knit it with a size 10 needle. Usually you knit with a 4 or a 6. And it is so beautiful. I love the halo on it that's coming from the alpaca, but it's not such a big halo like you will get from Angora, which sometimes give me real bad allergies. I love the color, and you know what? It is knitting up so beautifully. I am just so chuffed with this. I think I'm going, and it's light. I mean, this whole cardigan is going to be, it's 200 grams. This whole cardigan is going to be 200 grams. I mean, usually if I knit with this size needle, I don't end up with a cardigan that's less than 1 kilogram. So this is making me so excited. I am really enjoying knitting with it. Pattern, again, I'm sorry. I only learned like 6 years ago how to read a pattern. Up until then, I knit everything out of my head, and I've knit a lot of jerseys. My first job was to knit jerseys for a shop. So, and I would knit like 1 every 2 weeks for most of my final year at school. So I've knitted a lot, but following a pattern is not in my DNA, maybe. So I've made it up. But I went and I looked for a pattern that you can use if you wanted to make yourself a cardigan, because I do think everybody needs a nice cardigan in their wardrobes. And what I found was this one. It is the Drops Sheep Happens cardigan. Now that's very cute, but you don't have to do the sheep. You could just knit it in a plain color and just follow the pattern instructions, and that will give you a nice cardigan that you can just add to your wardrobe. Then I still have the white tablecloth that I'm going to turn into a skirt, something similar to this. Now, do you see that jersey that lady is wearing? I have one like that, similar to that I knitted years ago, and I'm not sure about the sneakers, but I will definitely wear the two together and call it a day for autumn. So I did not bring that fabric out here because it's going to get dirty and I don't feel like washing it again. But I'm definitely going to make something like that. There's the Dion skirt. I can't remember what it's called. That's also similar to that. It's got like lace at the bottom and then pin tucks and then a bigger tuck, and then it goes still halfway, and then it's smaller at the top, boss, almost a boss, but it's loose around your hips, and then it's got an elastic in the waist. So I'm just going to make a skirt like that to wear over the autumn season, and most likely for winter as well. I am going to line it. I got some just cotton voile that I will line it with, because petticoats, I don't mind the petticoat, but sometimes it is just too cumbersome. It's much easier just to have everything in one. And that is my plans for autumn. I would really love to hear what you are planning for autumn and patterns that you are looking at. And if you have free patterns that you are looking at, will you please share them below? Because like I said, there's a lot of the people who's not in the US that really patterns are the biggest expense. And I think as sewing content creators, we need to become aware of what's really the cost of sewing in some of the countries out there. Just give alternatives. Just a suggestion. As always, it is so nice spending time with you. And if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.